Welcome to Diet Rebellion, the podcast that's here to help you break free from the chains of dieting and finally take control of your health, strength, and confidence. I'm Joe Hoye, your host and the founder of Diet Detox. After transforming the lives of thousands of women over 40 who have been trapped in the endless diet cycle, I'm here to show you a new way. One that focuses on eating for your body's needs, restoring your metabolism, and rebuilding your strength for life. Get ready for real, no bullshit conversations, expert insights, and actionable strategies that empower you to live diet-free and thrive. It's time to stop restricting and start rebuilding. Join the rebellion. Your journey starts now. Ramona, welcome to Menopause from a Man. We have a matching plant in our background. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. So we were just talking in the green room. So for anybody that doesn't know the green room, just before we record, we were just chatting a little bit and I learned that you're 62 years old. And I had to learn it that way by you saying it because looking at you, I'd never tell. So
Thank
what's the
you.
secret?
I think, well, of course, some of it is genes. I mean, my mom was always pegged for 20 years younger with my dad, and you'd be like, oh no, that's my wife. But I truly believe what I've been doing since I was young has been a big impact on my life, including through the menopause part, which I'm really excited that you're involved because I think men need to know about what's going on. It's very a big topic right now. And so, but me personally, I think I've just kept to some habits that I started in my 20s. But you can still do it later in life. My mom started in her 50s and she outlived all her siblings. So yeah.
There you go. So what are those habits that you started in your 20s?
Well, I'd like to say it's exercise and eating right. It is, but it's also things like sleep. I get a ton of sleep, and a lot of that shows obviously in your face.
Yep.
Because if you don't have sleep, the first thing to go is that look of, that look, right? When you don't have sleep.
That look.
So I literally, because I have clients, I'm a trainer, you're a trainer, we get up early, we go to bed early on the most part.
Yep.
You're younger than me, so you probably don't go to bed as early as I do.
You might be surprised. Age-wise, maybe I'm not quite as old as you, but soul-wise, I might be.
Yeah. And then you kind of trade the nightlife for the morning life, I guess, at some point. I partied well into I was a Raiderette cheerleader with the Raiders for many years, and there was lots of partying. And I think you just come to a place where you go, oh no, that doesn't work for my body anymore. It just doesn't. And that probably happened in my mid 40s. I was trying to keep up with my younger boyfriend, and nope, didn't work for me anymore. The weight loss and all that, it was like, So I think your lifestyle is a big part of how you look to people, like whether you look like you're younger or you have more energy. And then also, I think some of it is just keeping a young frame of mind, really.
Yeah.
Being around younger people really helps. And most of my clients are in their 40s. They're women, and they are going through that time of their life, which is that menopause time or pre-menopause.
So what does that mean for me? All my clients are older than me. Am I in trouble?
Well, it's great because you're able to learn from them what's happening. And then you have a great deal of ability to learn from the internet and everything else and doctors. Now there's more research about it. I'm learning about it. I mean, I went through it, but it's much different seeing people go through it now because it seems to be definitely connected to your lifestyle and your past, like what your lifestyle was like. So
yeah, that's actually absolutely true. Like I know a ton about how the female body functions at perimenopause, menopause, and post, but spending all my time with people that are older than me, I selfishly actually get to steal a lot of wisdom and foresight, which is really cool. So as much as I coach them, sometimes secretly they don't know it yet, but they do coach, which is great. But you were a cheerleader for the Raiders. Did I hear that right?
Yes, when they were a long time ago, when they were here in LA and not Vegas. But I was a Raiderette, and most of my girlfriends, we all are still friends. So we have a sisterhood of friendship, and which is great because we've been through all the changes that a woman goes through in their life. And now we are at that place where literally what you did in your past starts to show up. So you have to start implementing all these new habits, and it's much harder later. You want to start in your 40s. So, but we still get together and laugh and all of that. I mean, I think the energy of a cheerleader will always be that same energy.
Yes,
and it's positive. Like look at life in a positive way, And I think that negativity will try to come in no matter what, especially in times you're living in when it's tough, but you have to build a wall around you to protect yourself, and you have to use your things, sage or whatever it is, like you have to protect. So I'm around a lot of clients that are very knowledgeable about the energy field.
Okay. Let's talk about that, because my wife is very, very, very interested in all of that. And she's taught me a ton, but it's not something that I speak with very much with our clients and our listeners. So let's actually dive into that. Like, why is the energy field important? And actually, before that, what is the energy field?
Right. Well, I mean, it's physics. We are vibrating cells. We have consciousness. So those are two things that kind of fit together. But if you're only going to look at one, like your vibrating cells in your body, that's one part that breaks down as you get older. But inside you have that consciousness. So whatever you want to call it, your soul or your consciousness. And if you can really grow that part of yourself as well at the same time as looking out for your body, I think then you go through the changes easier, because it's not just relying on the physical. It's like, that's why we always say mind, body, spirit. We're trying to bring it all into play. And I think I'm around clients now that's a big part of their life. They have a lot of stress. I currently work with Jessica Alba still, and I worked with her when she was 17 and I was 37. So I was her trainer back then, and now I'm back in her life, and I train her and her friends and her kids. And her big push right now is bringing more awareness to consciousness and the energy it holds to change your perspective of things.
I think that you and I are very into personal development, right? As a coach, we should be into personal development. And in the beginning, I think the more obvious ways to develop yourself are through the physical ways, right? How you look, how you feel, what you feed yourself, how that affects you. But eventually that becomes almost second nature. I know for me it is. I'm sure for you it is. For our coaches it is. And for our clients, it becomes second nature. And so then if we're truly into personal development, we want to take it further. And so eventually we get to what we're talking about right now, right? What are the benefits of this? Like, talk to me about the benefits.
I think the benefits are, the biggest thing is a peaceful journey. So you're not stressed out. You're not angry when someone cuts you off on the freeway. You're not affected as much by what's going on the outside of the world, like outside of your body, where you have no control sometimes. And if you can find that peace, whether it's through meditation or prayer or surrounding yourself with other people who are peaceful, it's just really beneficial. And I think that I'm learning about it, like I said, from my clients, but I've always had sort of that to start with through my faith and everything. So I'm very fortunate. I think that keeps me current in the fitness world, because it's trending more towards those directions right now. When we see people being really kind of angry and upset and all of that, that's where fitness goes, right? It's like, how can you get rid of that stress in your life? Well, exercise, because exercise has helped me many times through breakups of boyfriends. And, like, it was hard at one point when my father died to go back to the gym, but within a month, my mom and I were back in the gym, and it was slow, but we felt better. So my mom, my big inspiration in my life, she's had, we're South Asian, which is Indian descent, and basically predisposed to diabetes and cholesterol. So I have both of those in my genetics. And I'm like, I'm not going to go on any medication, because I'm going to do this with no medication.
Nice.
And
I was going to talk to you about that.
I tried, but let me tell you, at some point, my doctor was like, well, here's your thing. You're either going to have a stroke or a heart disease, heart attack, which one do you? So I had to go and take that medication, but it's not as much as many of my relatives. And the reason is your lifestyle, right? And my mom at 90 has outlived her siblings by 30 years, all of them except for one.
Wow.
And I have to say that I really feel it was because she became a trainer at 70. She was like a Zumba instructor. And then she was in fitness and dance before that. And it was her subscribing to exercise and eating right and sleeping and all of that and drinking water. And that's what made her live longer. So I see it in my family, and I see it with just the benefits of it all. Like, it's all about everything. Living a long life is what we want, right?
A long and happy and enjoyable life.
Yes.
Right. I would absolutely add that caveat, actually, because living a long life, maybe I don't want it, because if my long life is me bedridden and I can't move and enjoy my life, I actually actually don't want that, which is why we need to take care of our mind so we can be present for as long as possible. And we need to take care of our body so we can enjoy maybe our kids, our grandkids, our great nephews and nieces if we choose to not have kids, whatever it is. But yeah, absolutely. You work with Jessica Alba?
Yes.
What? How did you get into this? How did this happen?
You know, I posted today something about follow your passion and it'll lead to your purpose. And it's not a new concept. It's truly, I was a gymnast when I was a kid growing up. I grew up in a small town and I had a lot of, there were not a lot of minorities in this little town in Canada. So you grow up kind of with the shell around you. And my superhero tool was gymnastics. So I was a gymnast and I was going to tumble my way out of that town. It was like, I'm going to go to Hollywood because I wanted to go to Hollywood when I was a kid and be a star. So I came to LA and I was probably in my 20s and I tried the acting thing and got only so far. And it was always in fitness stuff, like commercial and Reebok commercial or whatever. It was always about exercise.
Okay.
And at the time I was doing fitness competitions. So, and then also I was cheering for the Raiders. So I thought, okay, well, I guess this fitness thing is not going to go away. And randomly a director or producer, I think it was a producer, saw me at a health club I was working at and asked if I could teach an actress of his gymnastics. And it turned out to be Jessica Alba for a role in a TV show called Dark Angel.
Okay.
And so then I showed her that. We worked together a little bit. And she said, why don't you be my trainer? And I had never even thought of being a trainer. And literally I became certified. And then I worked with her for 12 years. So it was this journey of, okay, sure, I'll try it. And then I had to give up my real desire, which I thought was my real desire. But the more I got into fitness, the more I realized that was who I was. It was in every way me, and I should enjoy the journey. And I did. And then from there, I wrote my fitness book and I went back to India. I started this charity. I have it's called 3-to-1 Empower, helps girls saved from trafficking become fitness trainers. It's all fit together, but I never could have choreographed it.
That's amazing. So when you were at the gym and the producer was there, was he scouting? Was he looking for somebody like you, or was this just odd luck that your paths crossed?
I wasn't even a trainer. I was literally in the restaurant of the Sports Club LA as a waitress. And he would always sit in my station, and he was a writer. That's what he was. He was a writer for a TV show called Moonlighting. And he was writing this new show, and he had this part, and he knew I was a cheerleader, and he knew I did gymnastics. Somehow we chatted about it. And so he's like, oh, I'll just see if she can teach my young actress this thing. So I met Jess, and we were at like a gym, and I made her crawl on the beam like a cat because she was supposed to be cat-like. So, so that little stuff like that. And then later on, it was she just was 17 and didn't want a real serious trainer, I guess, or something, because I was kind of more like, But then I got real certified and I was taking that job serious. So from there, I went on and trained other actors. I've worked with Jessica Biel, Halle Berry. I've worked with Scarlett Johansson. I've worked with Amanda. I've worked with lots of women, and I've worked with some men, Zac Efron and Ryan Reynolds. But basically, while I work with all these entertainers, it's wonderful. But I feel like now my real purpose is to inspire women who are younger than me to know you are going to have to be in shape for the rest of your life. It never gets easy. It's always going to be challenging. You have to do the work, and then you can have like time for your family. Like otherwise you're going to be gone by 60 something years old. So that's my purpose now.
I love that. I love, number one, how you just name drop these people that me, as a person that watches, first movie that comes to mind is Deadpool. And I'm just like, oh, Ryan Reynolds is so cool. Or like, wow, Zac Efron was in such good shape in this movie. Or Jessica Alba is amazing. And you're just like, yeah, I've worked with them all. That's super cool. But I think what's even cooler is that you've just naturally allowed your passion and your purpose to develop. And whatever path presented itself, you chose. You're like, you know what? This is now showing up in my life. This must be what's right for me. And throughout this entire conversation, you've just dropped these little breadcrumbs. And you quickly hinted at a charity. I know you passed over it fast, but I'm curious, what is the charity that you started? Can you tell me more?
Sure. So there was a point where I wanted to go back to India, discover India. My parents left and never wanted to go back. And so I took them all back to India, and I realized how, like, if I had grown up here, what a different life. And I was actually born in Germany. My mom was pregnant with me when she went to Germany, and I never went back to India. So I'm writing a book about my mom right now, how when she was young, 13 years old, she lost both her parents. They were 6 siblings in a 1-bedroom flat in Mahim. And somehow she got to Canada and had me, and I had a great life. I had a great childhood. And I think about that going, it could have been so different. I could have been born as an orphan, to an orphan and been one of those girls. So when I went back to India, I decided that's what I want to do. I want to help that population of girls who are girls that are orphans that have had a hard life. And most of these girls in this home that I met had been saved from trafficking. Their mothers were trafficked. And so that's their natural thing that they do. They were in this home and I thought, well, I'm going to show them some exercise first. So that's what we did. We did my workout and they had no shoes. They had their little salwar kameezes on and they did it. And then I found a trainer, a female trainer, to go and start training them to become trainers, to give them another option to make income. And we've had 100 or so graduate from the India program. It's now brought here to the US, and I work with a Dragonfly home in Oklahoma City with a similar program, giving the girls in the home a chance to exercise and also to discover if they want to be trainers. So we have an online course that we can offer them. It's just really starting in the US, and I've got some now new ideas how to grow this, but that's really my purpose. So whereas my purpose was fitness, it's really not. It's around fitness, but it's to elevate that population of girls that aren't going to have anyone in their corner unless we get in their corner.
I love that. And clearly fitness does still hold a special role to you because you're helping them by showing them fitness and all of the positive benefits it can have, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally. That's amazing.
Yes.
So, wow. And
So
is that
321empower.org is the website, so I can share that. And we do have, it's got some great stuff coming up for next year. In 2025, we have a couple potential fundraisers that are going to be coming up and working with a local group in LA. That's where I am. But I would love to grow this program all across the country, bring a real awareness that when they're brought into this sort of rescue program, there is rescue and recovery. There is no fitness element in it. It's literally just counseling and then, job skills. But this could give them both. It can give them the fitness element, which will help empower them, as well as give them job skills to go in either online, be a trainer or whatever, just have some skills.
I love that. And you said it's 321empower.org?
Yes, correct.
I love it. And so where's the 321 come from? Because if I understand right, you also have something called the 321 training method, right?
Yes, that was Jessica and I sitting down one day. I think I was asked to write a book and I thought, well, what is this that we do? So it was sort of 3 cardio pieces, 2 circuits, and 1 core. So I called it 321, which for me has always meant get ready, get set, go. So it's a philosophy as well. As a gymnast or an athlete, there's always this countdown before you perform. So it's all connected in like mind, body, spirit in a way. It's like get ready mentally, get set physically, go forward emotionally. That's the 321 in my. So at one point, 20 some years ago, when I started working with Jess, a lot of my branding came about. Then with a number of different things that happened in my life, takes you a little bit off your course, and then you're maybe you're helping your father recover from stroke, or maybe you're living with your mom during the pandemic, and then you come back and you go, okay, now what's my brand again? And I think my brand has switched a little. It's updated a little bit. It's maybe more around the menopause idea, which I would love to get deeper into, as well as the charity. But yes, fitness in all its forms throughout your life. This changes sometimes.
Of that. That's amazing. So let's dive deeper into menopause. How do you help women in that stage of life specifically?
It's not actually the menopause year that I truly help them. I believe it's leading up to it. So in my own life, it happened in my 50s, and it was a series of things that happened. The first hot flash was the most intense thing I ever felt. I was on a plane, a night flight, flying to Europe, near the window, trying to sleep, and my whole body got hot from inside out. And I'm sitting there in the middle of the dark cabin going, I'm going to take everything off right now. I hope they don't mind. And, you're just like, you're burning up. And I went, what was that? And I went through being a Raiderette, other Raiderette girlfriends just going, wow, like I'm just going to sweat all over dinner today when we go out, and it's just going to be sweaty, and just so all of that stuff. And I saw how exercising during that time, it reduced a lot of the impact. A lot of what was happening to me was reduced by not drinking alcohol. That was a big thing. And coffee, any stimulants, because that would kick it in right away. And then also just, if you can go and it's not burning out that energy, but taking a different, and some of it was also maybe yoga, like meditation, bringing it down when it was too hot. So I try to tell my 40-some-year-old clients, who include Jessica Alba, she's not near this stage yet, but they're in their early 40s, and this is what they have to prepare for. And strength training, we've all read how strength training is a big part, but sorry, it's not a major constraint. construction. Can you hear that?
No, I actually can't hear that at all. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And so that's one of the few things that we see over and over and over again is women, hopefully 30, but 40, 50, and 60 plus absolutely need to be using resistance against their bodies. So body weight maybe to start, but graduate to bands, graduate to machines, graduate to free weights. Is there a certain protocol that you like to kind of prescribe to these women across the board? I know it's going to change a little bit, but let's say 2 days a week or 6 days a week, or what does it look like for you?
I would say for me, maintenance is 3 days a week. If you're an absolute beginner and never built any muscle, you have to dedicate some time to doing that. And consistency is what's going to make it work. So the more consistent you are, even if it's shorter bursts, 20, 25 minutes, so that's all you can stand, but it's consistent, meaning 4 days a week or 5 days a week, even 5 days a week. Then I think you're going to start seeing your body changing quicker at the beginning. And then you can kind of pull back how much you want to do it. But when I had Jessica, she was 17. She had never lifted weights in her life. She had to be ready for Dark Angel. And it was a full 3-4 months of 5-6 days a week to build that muscle tissue. So it's not any different. It's just a beginner phase that you really have to put the work and effort in. And then after that, I train very erratically now. I'm kind of, I know I have to go. And then I'm like, okay, I'll go after my podcast instead of before it.
Yeah.
But I keep my muscle mass still.
I see
just
it.
by going, maybe, do you train with your clients? Sometimes I'll lift stuff, but I think that we don't think that's working out, but we're actually lifting heavy to give them the heavy. So we are working out throughout the day and just not as intensely. But I have to go 3 times a week. Yeah, 3 to 4 times.
Yeah. So all of our clients are online. They're across the country. I do have a local client that I recently just met at Planet Fitness and we worked out together, which was great. But I couldn't agree more with what you said. In the beginning, you need to build that foundation of muscle because if you don't have it, the only way to get it is like what you said, through consistency and through showing up for yourself over and over again. But for you, and then for me, we have that foundation. We have a big base. And once you have it, it's a whole lot easier to maintain, right? I can go on vacation. I can work out twice a week and I'm good. It's not going anywhere, but we've got to build it to begin with.
Yes.
I love that. And nutrition does play a role in this. Do you have any specific protocols you like to follow for that or any big beliefs around nutrition?
I look at the list of what you're supposed to eat and I go, oh, check. It's really crazy. Like I love oranges, salmon, I'm sure I think the thing was I got it all in me at the beginning in the fitness phase when I was doing fitness contests and all the knowledge about what food does, and having that as a base will change your mind when you go to reach for something. You just know, if the more you know about nutrition and food, you're naturally going to resist what you're going to do, right? So I've never really had a big problem. I think I eat fairly clean from those days, but I definitely partied in between here and there. So it's like, you're not always going to be, I tell my clients, you're going on holidays, the holidays, whatever. Most of it's our guilt. And I got rid of the guilt thing. Yes. And I think that if you can get rid of that pressure, you're not so inclined to go try to, manage every single part of your eating plan. It's impossible. And every day it's not sustainable.
That's really well said. Yeah. Because perfection truly does not exist. And yeah, I know that everyone listening wants to be in great shape. They want a great body. They want a great quality of life. But at the same time, you probably want to enjoy your life. And sometimes that's going to call for partying. That's going to call for some food that's less than perfect. And if you're putting pressure on yourself to be perfect and you're stressing yourself out when you don't eat well, it's not actually fun.
No, but you'll go through your phases and find what really works. Once you find what works, that's what you stick to. Because I think I found being really strict was really hard long term. And then with the hormones and everything, you're like, oh God, that doesn't work anymore. So you're always going to be changing. But if you have I do on the most part 4 days a week or 5 days, I will follow a program, and it's the food that I like, and it's very basic, and I don't go out to eat a lot, and I cook most of my meals on a grill because I'm not a good chef. So I'm not like that person. Maybe that's why I don't have a boyfriend right now, but I'm not that cooking person that makes 3-course meals. And it's very hard when you're with somebody that's kind of the thing, So as a mother and as a parent and as a wife, sometimes you want to have the strict thing, but then sometimes it's hard because you're other people in your life. So, but do what you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You don't need fancy to be successful. You just need what works for you. So I love that. We have a good understanding of nutrition. We have a good understanding of exercise now. I want to wrap this up and hopefully complete it because we talked about the spiritual aspect as well. But when it comes to mindset, mindset. Do you talk about that with your clients, or did you work with Jessica or Ryan or any of them on mindset?
I didn't when they were younger. We do a lot of talking now because I think once you hit your 40s, you think more about things in a serious way. You have children and all of that. So there's a lot of chatter that goes on, and there's a lot of trainers are always the ones, and hairstylists, I think, hear a lot of what goes on daily. But I try to keep a little bit of, I don't want to get involved in their life, but at the same time, I'll just revert back to something that I've heard or something that has affected me. And I think the more time goes by between conflicts and all, things disappear. They don't really last. So yeah, so mindset's important. Every morning I wake up, Jess wakes up, she does a meditation. Every morning before we work out, I go to her house and she has a gratitude meditation. Very good to start your day with. I go sometimes to church in the middle of the week. So this morning I went, and it was really peaceful. It was a half hour of literally just connecting in with that spiritual side, wherever it is. It can be in your home, it can be there, it can be in a park. But I think giving yourself that start off place is really important in your day so that other things can just bounce off that shield. Because
I find that too.
Yeah.
Rather than wake up and go grab your phone and look at everything that you're getting notified
and
of,
let it
right?
affect you, because everything does. You see somebody doing well, you see somebody on a holiday, somebody got married, somebody had a baby, and you're all like, it can all bombard you and bring your energies to another place.
Yeah, you just wake up reacting rather than responding and thinking for yourself. So that's been huge for me too.
Good.
I love it. Well, Ramona, is there anything else you'd like to share before we kind of wrap this up? Where can people find you? What is one message that you really want to get across to everybody listening?
Well, I think the one message is just to know you have one wonderful life to go through, and you never know when that time ticks out. So do make every day count. Try to bring joy to somebody in your day. And sometimes it's going to be a grumpy day. Who cares? But I think just get over it and move forward and stay healthy. And I love talking to you. I thought it was a great conversation. So yeah, it's nice to meet nice people, Joe.
Completely agree. I completely agree. I'm going to put all of your info in the show notes. So if anybody wants to go to 321empower.org or spend some time with you on social media, you can go right in the show
Ramona
notes.
Braganza. Super easy, but my name's hard to spell. Ramona Braganza.
Simple. Awesome. Thank you, Ramona.
Okay, Joe. Thank you.